Thanks for joining us today on Living It Up, Making Life Juicy. My name is Ingrid Guthrie, and my special guest today is Colleen LaRose. And Colleen is quite the Renaissance woman. And yesterday we were chit-chatting, and I dubbed her the Careers Fair Queen. So you have careers fairs that you do for women. Mm-hmm. Tell us about, you have another one coming up soon.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we have one coming up in the Bethlehem region for the Lehigh Valley and Bucks County and all the surrounding regions. We do the career fairs for women specifically because women are generally more impoverished throughout their lives than what men are. Women tend to take jobs that are less, have less money attached to them, mm-hmm. and they're often segregated into positions that are lower end or offer less money. And so we feel that it's really important for us to support women and help them to find non-traditional employment in construction and manufacturing and engineering, nice. Kinds of other jobs that maybe they don't think of. You know, we don't want them to think about retail and food service first. We want them to think about, all of the wonderful opportunities that are available out there that are higher paying jobs and give them the opportunity to access those positions.
Great. I know you're starting one also in Harrisburg and Pittsburgh and Baltimore, you were saying?
Yes, we're planning to take this on the road, so to speak. So
great.
Yes, we're very excited. We've been getting a wonderful response to the Women's Career Fair, and so we are planning to take this on the road and to other territories. Look for an area near you.
Excellent. Nice. So what happens on a typical day of this career fair?
Well, we bring the employers, we call the employers, of course, ahead of time and know who the vendors then will be at the show. And then we post this in the newspapers and on the radio and, television shows when we have the opportunity, and tell everyone who the employers will be at the career fair. And then they come in, they set up their tables and give out literature, and we also have speaking opportunities for the some employers that would like to have a more a few minutes to engage several women at the same time.
Nice.
So they have about 25 minutes to do a presentation if they want to do a slideshow or something like that to talk more about their company.
Okay. And then, so that's in the beginning of the day,
yes.
and then things happen in the middle of the day?
Yes.
There are like 3 different kinds of things.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it is fun. We want to make sure that we're attending to the needs of all the women in the region. And so during the day, typically 10 to 3, we have the Women's Career Fair. And then in the afternoon, when the career fair is breaking down and we're setting up for the next fair, which I'll tell you about in a minute, during that 2 hours between 3 and 5, we have a presentation done about entrepreneurship and women. And this time
nice.
We're very excited to have the Small Business Administration coming in to talk, and the Office on Women and Minorities is coming in to talk from the state of Pennsylvania to talk about being a women-owned, or being a certified women-owned business, and why that's important and how that can help women entrepreneurs. So we try to attend to the needs of women entrepreneurs in that middle section of the day. And then in the evening, we have a lot of fun. Starting at 5 o'clock and going until about 9 o'clock in the evening, we have what we call the Women's Adventure Fair.
Oh, love it.
And that it's awesome. We bring in organizations that offer skydiving and scuba diving and hot air ballooning and ballroom dancing, and it's awesome. We've had gourmet cooking and just all kinds of opportunities. A lot of travel agents come in and talk about if your dream is to climb Machu Picchu, well, what's it cost? Let's talk about, setting goals for ourselves,
yes.
and, like really putting them kind of in a more concrete form.
Yeah.
Because often women...
Make it happen.
Well, here's the problem. Women always put other people in front of them, don't they?
Oh,
right?
yes.
I mean,
yes.
we're
that
always...
nurturing instinct.
Exactly, and that's a wonderful thing.
Right.
But, we all only get so many hours and minutes and seconds on the planet.
Right.
And if you're always doing for other people, then you're never getting to attend to what's important to you. And so we're trying to say to women, it's your time too. This is your life.
Yes.
Go out and make something of it and decide what is it that you want to do. And we do this adventure fair specifically for women because we don't want them influenced influenced by their significant other, by the desires of their children, et cetera, et cetera. You know, if women want to go to Disney World, that's great. But if they're going there only because it's what their children want, then that's not so great. We want to know, what is it that you want? If your husband wants a boat, you know, to go fishing from, you know, you might want to go with him, and that's wonderful. But is that really what you want? Would you maybe rather be on a sailboat around the islands of Greece somewhere? You know,
yes,
I mean,
please.
you know, you know, I mean that would be my dream, right?
Yeah.
You know, I have a goal of learning how to play the guitar. You know, it's a small goal, but I have not taken the time to set aside for myself and say, I'm going to do this. And now, as I'm doing these fairs, I have decided that I am now going to set aside the time. I can't ask other people to set goals for themselves and try to go for them if I'm not doing it myself. And so, beginning next week, I'm going to be taking guitar lessons.
For you.
You know,
Good for you.
It's a wonderful opportunity to get women to grab hold of themselves and say, this is what I want out of my life, and start setting actual concrete goals for themselves.
That's such a wonderful thing you're offering.
Well, we call the day a day to set goals for women.
Yeah, that's great. So moving right along, because we've got 4 topics we have to cover.
Yes.
She made me stick to only 4, but we have half an hour. So the second one that you want to, and I know that they'll be splashing your website underneath this, so that anybody can go onto your website and find out the dates of the career fairs, right? But and we can talk about
it's not listed up there quite yet, but it should be very shortly.
Great,
so,
great. So the second thing is Pink Link Pages.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Pink Link Pages is something new that FemSpeak has just decided to take on. We found out that 29% of all of the businesses in the country are owned by women, but only 4% of the revenues generated by all business are from those 29% women-owned businesses. So the women-owned businesses are very, very small, and they're generating very little money. But women, you and I, buy 80% of all goods and services in the country. We buy the cleaning products, we buy the kids' clothes, we buy the husband's clothes, we buy, you know, let's face it, women buy everything, right?
Yep.
Just about. So if women gave women-owned businesses preferential treatment when they were making their buying decisions, women businesses would increase their revenues. And what's important about that? Well, that would be good for all women.
Yes.
Because then women would have more access to capital. You know, the banks would take us much more seriously when we went to borrow, right? Women would have much better employment opportunities if women businesses were larger. And women would also then have a larger voice in political discussions about workforce issues such as family leave. So we want to increase women-owned businesses, the revenues of women-owned businesses. And the best way to do that is to identify who is the woman-owned business and give them preferential treatment. That's not to say that everything you buy would come from a woman-owned business, but you know, but you would try to give them. Yes,
so
we do.
We absolutely. Men, right?
We adore men, but
and that's true too.
but you know, this is just kind of giving girls a leg up, you know. And since we're making all the purchases and we're holding the purse strings, we can do this if we bind together. The problem is, until now, there's been no way to know which business is owned by a woman and which one's owned by a man.
Right.
So if you're going to a florist, you have no idea, is this a woman-owned business or a man's business? If you're going to a bakery, you don't know, is this a woman-owned business or a man's business? And so Pink Link Pages has been created to resolve this issue. We are a directory of women-owned businesses starting locally in the Lehigh Valley, Bucks County, Philadelphia region, and then we will be quickly expanding nationwide. And this is an opportunity for women who own businesses to sign up, register their business with Pink Link Pages as a woman-owned business, and the basic ad is wonderful. They get a picture of themselves on the basic ad, their name, their title. They get the logo of their business, all of their contact information, and it's only $60 a year for them to have this basic ad listing
that's a great
online. It's fabulous.
Way to spend advertising dollars.
Absolutely, for $60, you know. I mean, it's dinner one night.
Right.
You know?
Oh well.
you know,
if you're adding wine.
Right. Well, there you go. And so if you add the wine,
Yeah.
the featured listing is only $99. And with a featured listing, you get a pale pink background, so your ad your listing stands out a little bit from the other ones. You also get a link directly to your website, which is very important because then people can go right from the listing to your website. And what's really cool, and I love the fact that we live in this wonderful technological age where we can do all kinds of cool things. You'll also have the opportunity to post a video commercial for your business right on the listings website.
That's very cool.
So it is very cool. And that's only $99 for an entire year.
Yeah, that is great.
So that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
So we're very excited to bring Pink Link pages to the women who
love
own
it.
businesses and women who are looking to purchase from women-owned businesses.
And I know your phone number is also getting splashed across this broadcast, so they can call you and speak to you about it.
Absolutely.
And get things moving in this area too and all around. Now tell us about FemSpeak.
Yes.
Wait. Oh, here we go. FemSpeak.
Yes.
Wait. We got to do the back.
Oh,
Good to see.
Now is the time to make my life shine. That's it.
Yes.
FemSpeak is my passion. And Pink Link pages and the career fairs all kind of fall out of this overarching organization that we call FemSpeak. FemSpeak was born because I went around and I asked women, what do you like about the media that is directed at you and what don't you like? And women told me that they're just, first of all, they're sick and tired of being sold to constantly. They feel like every magazine is just a catalog pretty much of goods and services. It's not, they don't feel, the word that kept coming to me, Ingrid, was nourished. They don't feel nourished when they pick up a magazine anymore. And they also said that they feel that the airbrushed models are over the top and that the things that they're trying to be sold are out of their price range or not practical for their lives. The fashion is not, really something that they would wear. And so they don't feel that the media is really in touch with who they are. And so the women asked, they said, first of all, they told me overwhelmingly that they're lonely. Women are lonely. And they really feel like they need a connection, I was too.
Yeah.
But, about a year later, I saw a report that Maria Shriver did called A Woman's Nation. And she talks about, she went all over the country asking women, what is the state of womanhood in the United States? And women all over the country said the same thing, that they felt that they needed a place to connect with each other, that they just didn't feel a connection to other women. And so FemSpeak is offering an opportunity for women to connect regionally. And so each, we're starting out again we'll have a FemSpeak Bucks County and a FemSpeak Lehigh Valley, but we envision this as something that can be franchised across the country. And it will be a quarterly magazine where women will actually the women of the region will actually create the magazine. They will contribute their artwork and their literary works, their poems, their stories, their articles. They will write the magazine together.
I think that's so great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It gives them, really ownership of it and makes them feel like they're part of something and part of each other. And they get a picture, if they contribute a poem that's accepted by the magazine, then they get a picture of themselves in the magazine with a short bio about who they are right there on their contribution. We have a separate